that.
Did you get it? Great. Well, I am just absolutely thrilled that we're honoring the longest serving city council member in history with a park that he worked really hard on and is an important part of the communities that he served so well for so long. I think it's incredibly appropriate. I'm really, really pleased that we were able to do it.
So on the amendment that didn't pass, basically it didn't pass, but is it fair to say that the majority of council seems to be very comfortable on fully pursuing the Victoria Park option?
I mean, that's certainly what I heard council members say. I didn't hear anybody say, stop, go back to the West Village option. In fact, I heard many people say, look, the West Village option is not feasible, as we've known for many, many, many months, and nothing really has changed on that. So it was sort of one of those funny things where I asked a question at the end. Council just spent 35 minutes arguing about this. Does it matter whether this passes or not? Are we going to do any more work on it? And the answer was no, we're not going to do any more work on it. So take that as you will.
But in the art of good faith.
Well, that's really it. And I voted against it myself for that reason. I just didn't think it was very nice to spring that without having had a conversation with the proponents of that. But I think everybody is really on the same page on this.
So what kind of time frame is the city on the Victoria Park?
Very deliberately, this was a strange set of recommendations because it didn't involve a time frame. It really is up to the parties around the table. If they want to move quickly, I think a lot of analysis has been done and they can move quickly. If they would rather take more time to explore different options, different parties, we heard some talk today about equity holders and so on, then that could drag on. But, the point is we did a big renovation of the Saddle Dome in 2013. I don't think anybody is pulling out their hair completely on timing here. So let's take the time to get it right is what I heard council say.
Mr. Stevens did say that he would like to get a briefing in the next 6 weeks. That was kind of
I'd like to see that, but we deliberately didn't give him a deadline. So if, for example, an interesting new option comes up that they want to explore further, they have the luxury of time to do that.
Is there a third option?
No, not that I know of, but I'm not the most creative guy in the world, so someone else may have one.
You asked a question in there again about public benefit, really emphasizing that. Are you sort of pretty clear on what that means?
No, not at all. And I think that was the purpose of my question.
But now that you have a question.
Which was, this is something that I think council is really expecting. You have to come back and say, look, this is what the public benefit is. And I said, and don't give us dubious public benefit, right? There was a study showing that the Garth Brooks concerts led so much to the Edmonton economy that was done by the people who put on the Garth Brooks concerts. And they didn't say how much of that money went into their pocket, like it included the stadium itself, right? Or the arena itself, I think, and what it was getting. I'm not really sure. And so what I really wanted to do is say, look, be very clear. Is there development that will occur that would not have occurred otherwise? And it's not stealing from other parts of the city. Is there a straight financial deal where there is rent or revenue sharing or something that comes back to the city? Is there social benefit that is as yet undefined? So for example, Edmonton signed the deal that was probably right for them at the time, and that's what the council agreed on. But their public benefit use days, they have to pay full op costs, which means every time they want to have a family fun skate, it costs them hundreds of thousands of dollars, I think. You have to confirm that number, but big money just to keep the place open. There's a winter garden that the public paid for that is under the control of a private corporation and not really a beautiful public space that people can use every day. So these are the sorts of things that we really have to be very clear on, and I think council was very clear, saying there's lots of ways to define it. We'll be flexible on thinking about it, but be very clear on what it is.
But you also said that you would like to see the public be able to use it free sometimes.
Maybe that's one option. There are many, 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 many options for what this whole thing could look like. And what I was really trying to get at is council, and it's not me, it's council unanimously, very clearly has said, please define public benefit. And I know that Calgary Sports and Entertainment Corp and the city have been really working hard on thinking about what that could mean. A lot of people who are in such negotiations will always default to financial benefit. That should probably be part of it. But let's be very, very clear on what the public is getting.
But as you pointed out, the Edmonton debate took years.
Yeah.
Do you have any sense of whether this is going to take years, or are you talking months?
I mean, it's taken years just about everywhere, just to be clear, because these are complex decisions. And they are decisions that requires city governments to really think outside of their comfort zone. You know, I can make a decision on an interchange on Crowchild Trail pretty quickly. Do I have the money? What's the travel time benefit? And we can do that. And hopefully we will do that later this afternoon. But for something like this, you know, it's important that the public really feel comfortable with what's being proposed, and I think that's important.
Do you see this as a debate topic for the next election?
I mean, that's a really good question. Typically, one would see it that way, but I think you can't put a piece of paper between me and one of my competitors on our point of view on this. And frankly, if I were someone who wanted to run in the election, I'm being a pundit and I'm not supposed to do that, but if I was someone who wanted to run in the election, I'd run on the other side. I'd say no public money, no taxpayer money for this, and Rick Bell would write great columns about no taxpayer money for private corporations. I think that having a reasonable conversation and thinking about that public benefit is the right way to go.